Polls currently show a tight Senate race in the state of Montana, but Republicans have a slight advantage. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today it is time to talk about the 2024 Montana Senate race because everyone, brand new polling data shows that the Senate race is going to be close, which is not a surprise. Obviously, you're going against Jon Tester. It is going to be a close race either way. But the new polls show it very close, but not with Tester in the lead. In fact, Tim Sheehy has a slight advantage over Jon Tester in a brand new poll out of the state. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, I am not saying that Jon Tester has a 100% chance of losing, but a brand new poll indicates that, as of now, he might be slightly down. But this should not be a surprise. This is Montana. This is not Wisconsin, Michigan, or Pennsylvania, which are 50-50 states. This is Montana. It's a Trump plus 15 to 20 state. But either way, let us get right into it. New polling of Montana's closely watched U.S. Senate race shows what's shaping up to be a razor-thin contest between Democrat Senator Jon Tester and Republican newcomer Tim Sheehy. The poll from JL Partners, provided exclusively to the Montana State News Bureau, shows Sheehy leading Tester within the margin of error by 48% to 45%, with 7% of those polled undecided. The poll's margin of error is 4.3%. So this poll has Sheehy slightly ahead, but forget Sheehy's margin for a second. Look at Tester's vote share. 45%. That isn't good. I mean, for an incumbent who has been there since like 2006, if he had a guaranteed chance of winning, he should not be polling at 45%. He should be at like 48, 49 to even have a chance of winning. The fact that he's already at 45%, according to this poll, is bad. And remember, that's the same number Steve Bullock got in 2020. You know, the super popular Democrat governor? He got 45% after every poll claimed he's going to win the race. He lost by 10. So he's at the same number Steve Bullock was a couple years ago. Tester seeking re-election in one of the most closely watched Senate races in the country. Sheehy was handpicked by GOP leaders to run against him in a race seen as critical to the party's efforts to gain back control in the Senate. Now, I'm still pretty mad about what happened to Rosendale. The fact that he should have been the nominee here, he would have been if Trump didn't endorse Sheehy, is kind of sad. But I could somewhat understand why the Republican Party didn't want a divided primary. Look at Pennsylvania back in 2022. It was like a five-way shit show, and yeah, Oz barely won the nomination, but he wasted tens of millions of dollars and could never recover from that, and he got crushed in the general. They didn't want the same thing happening in Montana. I understand that. You're going against Tester, but even then it's like, it's a Trump plus 15 to 20 state. Even if there's a contested primary, with Trump on the ballot, it shouldn't really matter. But that's the Republican Party being fearful of losing the seat. The polling found that Sheehy held a 9-point lead among men, while Tester was up by 3% with women. Not enough for Tester. That's it? 3%? If he wanted a realistic chance of winning, this should be close to double digits, not just, 3%. The fact that Sheehy's up by 9 with men, while Tester's barely up with women, this should be a Sheehy plus 5 poll, not just Sheehy plus 3. These are not good numbers from what I'm seeing. Older voters are also skewed more towards Sheehy. He captured 52% of those ages, 51 to 64, and 50% of those 65 and up. Tests were stronger among those 18 to 35, with 52% of respondents in that age group backing him. Among independents who could play a critical role in the race, Tester held 49% to Sheehy's 39%, with 11% undecided. But as a poll noted, Sheehy was claiming enough of that group to lead in the poll overall. And this is one of those things where Montana is a much more independent leaning state. That means, like, okay, you're going to have some wonky results where Tester is able to do much better than other Democrats. You know, you see the Libertarian Party do good in Montana. That's why. Independents are a much larger share of the vote than in other states. It's a more, I wouldn't say just independent, just more of an elastic state. That means you will see some more swings in the state. But either way, Tester's barely winning independents, and he's seen as the quote-unquote independent-minded senator of Montana. If he's only at 49% of those voters, he's done. Now, I understand that 11% of independents are undecided, but if we assume that they break 50-50, like half go to Tester, the other half goes to Sheehy, Sheehy should be at 45% with that group, which in Montana, it would be close, but that should get him enough support to beat Tester. That's why Tester being at 49% is not enough. It's just not enough in a state like Montana. And on top of that, those remaining undecideds, they're going to vote for Trump at the top of the ticket. Because remember, yeah, Montana is a very independent state, but at the same time, the independents lean Republican by like 15 points. So theoretically, those undecided voters more than likely are Republicans. Those polled ranked inflation in the economy as the most important issue facing Montana at 33%, followed by border security and illegal immigration at 20%, and threats to democracy at 15%. Climate change, healthcare, abortion, national security, election integrity, and crime and public safety all ranked in the single digits. So even on the question of the most important issue, Republicans have a slight advantage. The number one and number two issues are the economy and border security. Take a guess how those groups are going to vote. Those voters, I should say. They're going to vote overwhelmingly Republican. These are the two biggest issues that benefit Republicans. The biggest issue for Democrats is threat to democracy. And it's only at 15%. So that means when it comes to the most important issue, 53% of Montana voters, just the top two issues alone, think it's border security and the economy. While Democrats' biggest issue is threat to democracy. And it's barely at 15%. And that doesn't include national security, election integrity, crime and public safety. If you combine all of that, it's probably closer to 60% of the voters think the most important issue is something issue Republicans win. That is a disaster. You talk about this poll, this might be the biggest disaster for Tester. Because you could argue, well, the age demographics, that's just sampling error, that could change, all of that. These are the voters ranking the most important issues. And the number one and number two issues are some of the most Republican issues out there. What am I supposed to say other than not good for Tester? And on top of that, look at the undecided voters. They found inflation in the economy to be the most important issue, followed by border security and illegal immigration. That made them look more similar to a Sheehy supporter than Tester backer, according to the poll, except when it came to abortion. 8% of undecided said abortion was the most important issue facing Montana, compared with 9% of Tester supporters and just 2% of Sheehy's backers. But even then, these undecideds, their most important issues are those that Republicans usually dominate, the economy and illegal immigration. But I want to give you just, an example of how bad this is for Tester. So this is the actual poll. All right, this is the question of the most important issue by voter. That means, what do Tester voters think are the most important issues, Tim Sheehy voters, and undecideds? Obviously, Tester voters, it's stuff like threats to democracy, abortion, climate change, healthcare. Republicans, it's obviously stuff like immigration, the economy, election integrity, national security, etc. Look at the undecided vote. Look at this. 42% of those voters said it was inflation. 35% said it was border security. That means, according to this one question, I'm not saying that this is gonna happen. These undecided voters are not only not Democrats, they could be more conservative than Tim Sheehy's current voter. Yeah, because look at that. Their most important issue is the economy, and in fact, more undecided said it was the economy than Tim Sheehy voters. Yes, there are some Democrats, like, you could see 8% said abortion, 3% said healthcare, but look at the top two. 77% of undecided said the biggest issue is either the economy or border security. More conservative than Tim Sheehy. Now, you can make an argument that, well, maybe there's some Democrats are saying the economy sucks, but they're going to vote for Tester. Fine. But at some point, it's like, okay, these voters look nearly identical to Tim Sheehy voters. So, are they really going to break for Tester? Some of them will because he is the incumbent, I understand that. But even if half of these undecideds go for Tester, hell, if like 60 to 70% break for him, Tim Sheehy, if he wins 30% of these undecideds, would in fact win. So in a best case scenario, Tester wins 70% of them. It might not be enough. And realistically, there's a chance that these undecided voters break for Tim Sheehy. That means his margin of victory could go up. The more I look at this poll, the more stunned I am that Tester's doing this bad with some of these voters, but it shouldn't be that big of a surprise. This is Montana. This isn't frickin', Nevada. This isn't like Arizona. This is a fairly Republican state. And the undecideds are going to be much more Republican. The problem for Sheehy is he has to win them over. These voters are going to probably vote for Trump. A chunk of them will, at least. He has to win them over. If he does, he's going to be the next senator of Montana. But if he fails to win these voters, he's done. I think he will win a chunk of them. Mathematically speaking, there's no way in hell Tester wins 100% of undecideds. That's not going to happen. But if he wins just 80%, that might be enough. Theoretically shouldn't, because these seem more conservative, but I just don't think it's enough. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.